Yes.
Hi, is this Stephen O'Keefe?
Yes, it is.
I have a delivery for you.
Okay. Who's it from?
Hi there, it's from Jane Ferguson.
It's not stamped with Jane Ferguson's stamp, though.
No, but there's a letter inside with her signature.
Yeah, I have scanned signatures and forgeries from Unit 1115.
Okay, well,
That's not from Jane Ferguson.
It is, but that's her disclosure.
What's your name?
My name is Frankie. I work for her.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not stamped by her?
Pardon? No, there's a letter inside and that's signed by her.
Her envelopes are stamped with a stamp. It's not from Jane
this
Ferguson.
is just a larger one.
Thanks for the fraud.
Okay.
Bye. It's September 7th, 2016 at 11:54 p.m. and 2 seconds by my watch Eastern Standard Time. Just wanted to do a quick comparison of what a legitimate legal delivery from Jane Ferguson looks like compared to a police impersonation of my landlord delivery here. First of all, with the envelope the disclosure arrives in, you get a return address for 41 Rosedale Road, addressed to me. For the RCMP impersonation delivery, we get addressed to me, but no return address, so it's completely untraceable. It's delivered by hand so that any RCMP or friend of Unit 1115 or any other government helper can drop it at your door without any trace of where it came from. With a legitimate disclosure delivery, it comes from 41 Rosedale Road. You get an email address for contact. You get the name of the landlord being represented, the number of the tenant application, which the disclosure is applicable to. You get a declaration from the lawyer saying that I represent your landlord and this is the landlord's name, and here is all the disclosure that's attached. Okay, sometimes they put it as an attachment list, but it's in the body of the letter here. So for an impersonation of my landlord, a hoax delivery from the RCMP, we get a new address, 426 Euclid Avenue. Jane Ferguson has been split into two legal identities. This identity is the RCMP paid informant identity to keep the police out of jail. Regarding that, it doesn't state any landlord representation. It doesn't state the landlord and tenant board file number. It doesn't list the disclosure. It just says, here's your landlord's disclosure, which again is false. There's no landlord representation here. So this is lies, which Jane Ferguson has signed off on, if that is her signature. The RCMP are adept at forgeries. It does look legitimate, but she obviously doesn't know what she's signing off on here. It could be anything. And what's attached as disclosure is just, fake pseudo-email junk with no traceability, no headers, just fictional narrative from the clinically and criminally insane RCMP tenant of Unit 1115 here, downloading some of my letters. Basically pseudo-emails look like they were written in Microsoft Word, creating a fictional narrative with some of my tweets attached. So basically why this is done is the RCMP will say, well, now we have an investigation as to whether Stephen O'Keefe is harassing our employees. So we'll have him do up all this fictional narrative, and Jane Ferguson will be witness to it, and we'll pay her however many million as an informant witness. The RCMP can pay anywhere from $1 to $5 million for informants to show up in court and lie to get police out of jail, and we'll tell all the landlord and tenant board staff to keep hush about it, to keep O'Keefe in the dark as a code of silence. We'll make it seem like it's a landlord and tenant board eviction hearing, and when it's over we'll have all the evidence we need for ourselves to create a false case file against O'Keefe, and we'll either ghostwrite the eviction order for O'Keefe, or we'll intercept the mailing through Canada Post, forge a new one and stuff it into an envelope and post it back to him so he thinks he's being evicted when the landlord and tenant board didn't even know it happened, and there's no way to verify it because the RCMP will tell them to keep hush and stay silent on any of my communications, so that if the RCMP want to evict me to keep the tenant of Unit 1115 free of criminal charges and out of jail, they can do it. And this is how it happens here in Canada. You're probably wondering why. Well, you have to live in a nation which has a criminal government, and a nation where laws are actually fiction. So when a person is being prosecuted by government, Canadian law is very rigid. But when a member of the public has evidence which can send many, many, many people to jail, as has been evidenced on Up Catalyst, as government protected major crime drug running through this rental property and others in the neighborhood, law becomes very flexible. It becomes halved and divided, and a maze appears of codes of silence and cones of silence and Chinese doors and sliding doors and partitions and divisions. All this, folding like stagecraft on a stage, all these different scenes playing out to keep the police constantly out of jail and free of criminal charges, and keep the target in the middle of the stage always wondering what's happening around them. So, as you can tell, this is a legitimate legal disclosure delivery with connection to the landlord, and this has none. This is a police hoax, as I stated at the door yesterday when the person calling themselves Frankie delivered it. This is fraud.